Now, crime fighting has become everyone's problem in South Africa. The Western Cape has been especially hard hit with its enduring battle against gang-related violence. The Safer South Africa Foundation works to empower and involve communities in combating crime. Well, its executive head is former National Police Commissioner Riah, Phiyega, no stranger to fighting crime. She joins me now in studio to talk about her continuing journey towards promoting safer communities. Good evening, ma'am. Thank you very much for your time. Perhaps you can tell, for the sake of our viewers, what this foundation exactly does.
Thank you very much for the invitation, and greetings to your viewers. The foundation focuses largely on what I would call, if you take the crime prevention continuum, I would say there's the proactive side of things, which focuses on prevention, and you go right up to the reactive side of things where crime has happened and the criminal is being processed. And if I were just to indicate, if you look at the reactive side of things, that's where most of the security cluster is. If any learner has committed crime and is now arrested, he's going to be processed by the police, the NPA, the courts, correctional service, and all those. So the whole thinking around the Safer South Africa Foundation, when it was founded in 2011, was to say, how do we mobilize communities together with empowering our younger people to be able to make better choices? And if I were to put it this way, is that children do not become criminals from birth. They are taught. They learn that. So why don't we as a society try and take time to teach, to educate, to empower, to build awareness around issues of crime that children as citizens have a role to play. They can equally, make a contribution towards fighting crime. So what we are doing as Safer South Africa Foundation, we work with various stakeholders in the safety and security space. We start with the Department of Basic Education, the school, because they are the platform where the learners are. They would identify learners in that school, and then we reached out to the various stakeholders in the safety and security cluster, the police, the traffic officers, NPA, the courts, the Correctional Service, Human Rights Commission. Our brand new partner are the banks. And we explored to say, if you had an opportunity of creating awareness and impacting the child positively and preparing the child to be able to make better choices around issues of crime, what would you use the platform for? How would you teach? And out of that, all of us developed a framework that would be used. So once a school has allowed us to come in, the police themselves would come and teach the children. The traffic officers would come and teach the children. They would take their 2 hours. We run an 11-session program. They would take their 2 hours, the police, to come and teach them and even demonstrate, mock arrest, their rights, educate them about the type of crimes that they are processing of youths and all those. The traffic officers would come, impress upon them issues of road safety, bylaw enforcement, issues of licenses, ethics around that, and avoiding corruption around those type of things.
Now, there's a story that our program Checkpoint that aired this week, yesterday actually, where you had a child who was found, or alleged to have been found, or to have smoked dagga. And then they were put basically in this detention center for a good couple of months, which a lot of professionals, or the professionals interviewed on the program, were saying was way overboard. In other words, the punishment they got, where they were, put together with criminals even, didn't really, fit the kind of offense that they did. And as a result, that is bound to have dire consequences for the affected learner as he grows up. Have you come across such situations?
We met a number of situations.
And how have you dealt with them?
Let me just use the example that you've given us to say, imagine this child. Now he is being processed, but this child could have been empowered long before to realize that crime does not pay. It is criminal to be involved in particular things. So this program must work hand in glove with programs, where the child is already being processed. So it is important for us to educate the children and for them to interact with the police and all that. And those type of examples would be given during those lectures. I may also indicate to you that, for instance, there is experiential learning for these children. It's not just the academic lectures by the various professionals. The NPA comes, the magistrates come. The experiential learning, they would spend a day, for instance, in a court to see how a court functions, interact with the magistrate. They would spend a day in jail on a completely different, to see how that functions. The Human Rights Commission would come and do constitutional education for the children. The banks would come and do financial inclusion, positive relationship with money, crimes related to money. And when they are done, we give them an opportunity to actually, you should see how they innovate and start writing about their own volition in terms of how they would fight crime in their community, in their schools. And out of that, we would be having a huge national dialogue. We're launching a national debate and dialogue for all these children who would have won their essays in the communities. That type of situation that you are talking about, I'm very concerned that, a child was almost incarcerated. And I'm asking myself, where were the other interventions? Where were the social workers? Where were the parents? Where were the life skill teachers in the school? Because I'm asking myself, did he even go to court? And was it a juvenile court? Was it all those things? It shows that there is a systemic failure in terms of how we handle children who find themselves on the wrong side of law.
I don't have time, but I have to ask you this. You saw the images of police being harassed by petrol bomb carrying and knife and other things wielding people in the CBD. Just your thoughts as you watch those images?
Unacceptable. We can never, you ask, a law enforcement officer has to be respected for what it's worth. It doesn't matter how right you are. I think if we respect our country and if we respect our laws, the best thing you could just do really is to respect law enforcement officers. I appreciate what they did to retreat so that the situation doesn't become one that causes calamity.
Thank you very much for your time.